www.flizzmusic.com.
Having the words, getting on their nerves. Officially they heard. Dope niggas.
What up, y'all? Welcome to You Ain't Up on This podcast. And today's special guest, we got the legendary, the one and only Rudy Rudacious. Give it up, y'all.
Which camera am I looking into? Which camera?
Anyone you please.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
So,
you do a jump cut between the two. What's up? What's up? What's up?
My guy, thank you.
My brother.
Yes. Yo, this is my freaking dude right here. I let y'all know we've been through a lot for years when he was a youngin'. It's funny to realize you're not like the youngin' no more. When I met, like you're a grown man.
Yeah, man.
Doing grown man things. And I want y'all to pay attention to how much this brother went in during the ins and outs of these takes. Watch what this dude does. He ain't playing. He does this for real. He works out.
I've been slacking, to be honest, though, so I'm like just getting back into the swing of things now.
Maybe this podcast helped him get back to the swing of things?
No, absolutely. Boxing is definitely something I've been slacking on. That's definitely something I've been slacking on. So it felt good. It felt good to, you know what I'm saying, go through the motions today.
Yo, he worked out so hard. See, I didn't do anything today. Normally I work out with the people, but nope, not today. But I'm still sweating. Yeah. That's how hard he worked out for both of us. I lost weight today. I dropped about 547 calories.
But I worked out for us.
Straight up, man. He worked out vicariously for us. Yeah, but man. But since we're on this like workout thing, we're gonna start with the workout question. Mm-hmm. Easy, simple question first. How often do you work out?
I mean, I try to do as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can, every day. But you know, the older you get, the less that's possible. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that becomes a more difficult thing. I try to do, if I can, I try to at least do something every day. I don't really like rest days. I prefer an active rest day.
What does that mean?
So an active rest day is when you do something that's low impact.
Okay.
So like if you've been working out really hard, let's say you've been hitting the weight, you hit every single body part on the weights and you're super sore, just a light walk.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Just a light walk on the treadmill. Something along those lines is considered like low impact. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get in the mode of doing that.
Is bike low impact?
You can say that, yeah. Okay, biking, right. If you take like a light, you know what I'm saying? Just something that you can do that's light, that's not gonna be considered an extra, you know what I'm saying, an extra part of your workout and stuff like that. So, but I try to do something every day if I can. But I've been slacking. You know, my personal life has changed a lot recently. And,
my whole life's changed.
Yeah. So you know, some of the new responsibilities that I had, you know what I'm saying, I created the bad habit of becoming very sedentary and sitting down a lot.
Yep.
So I'm like breaking myself out of that habit right now, whatever and stuff like that. So
that's not easy to do.
No. Actually, just bought a treadmill, but that one that folds, that you can fold and hide away and stuff like that, fits perfectly right underneath my bed.
All right.
So I bought that so that when I'm in my room and stuff like that, I could actually pull it out, and like I'm actually gonna plan on like purposely setting stuff aside, like you know, like I watch rap battles and stuff like that, or like anything that I want to watch that's like over like 30 minutes or something like that.
Yep.
And I'm gonna plan to watch it while I'm on the treadmill. Okay. So I'm gonna, if I wanna be entertained by something, I have to earn it. Yeah. That's the attitude I'm trying to give myself now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to push myself to just walk every day and stuff like that, and being more focused on doing things that is more functional. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I made this face because I realized I commend you because I can't work out in the crib.
Oh yeah?
We had a bike before, got rid of all that stuff. I said the same thing. I'm gonna watch my shows on the bike, but I know people who can do it, and I know you're one of them who can do it.
I didn't have the attitude of looking at home for like the place of rest per se. Okay. Like, you know, the time period in like my early and mid 20s or whatever, when I was like hitting the road and going to different venues, you know, doing poetry or theater and stuff like that or whatever. I looked at home as like the place to build. Okay. You know what I'm saying? To build my body so that I could go do those things when I go out. So certain things like the theater, for example. You know what I'm saying? Being in plays and stuff like that, man. The physical endurance it takes, more so not necessarily because the show is physically demanding, but it takes a certain physical endurance for me so that I make sure that my body doesn't get in the way of my mental endurance.
Okay, all right.
Because the thing with it is that, like, you figure you got to stay committed to a character for 2 hours. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to stay committed to a character for like 2 hours and stuff like that. I looked at home as like a place to increase my endurance physically, so that my mental endurance can stay strong when I go do artistic things like poetry, like the theater and stuff like that. In poetry, you know, you figure if I'm going to another state, like I'm going to New York or something like that to go compete, you know what I mean? Just the wear and tear. Yeah, just the wear and tear of traveling and stuff like that. And I would always go via public transportation. So I'm taking buses. I remember one time going to a poetry competition in Hempstead, New York, and I had to take 2 buses to get there. One all the way up to Queens, and then another one all the way up to Hempstead. 2 Greyhound buses. I was traveling all day just to finally get there, and then now I got to compete. 3 rounds with a dude.
You got to get in your zone.
I got to get in my zone. You know what I'm saying? So you need a certain physical endurance. Your body has to be able to handle that, so that it never gets in the way of your mind. Because you know, your mental capacity and your physical capacity are 2 different things, and one can easily get in the way of the other. And so for me, I always looked at it like I never wanted my body's endurance to sabotage my mental endurance. You feel what I'm saying? So and then like I said with the theater, you got to stay committed to a character for like 2 hours.
I've seen you at plays, a few of them, and I wonder, how do you remember all those lines? Because some of the plays you are in are very wordy. How do you? Does that come easy for you or hard to remember all those lines?
So it's a little bit of both, depending on what the focus is, right? If you're gonna look at it from just like a mechanical standpoint of like, I have to drown all these words, you have a monologue like this long, and I have to drown these words into my head, then of course it's gonna be difficult. You know, you'll stress yourself out and stuff like that. It gets easy when, number one, you try to learn it like the same way you know a personal story of your own. So like the biggest thing with acting that I find, that my biggest challenge is making sure that I allow myself to get out the way and allow the character to breathe and live through me.
Okay.
So the biggest challenge is, honestly, it's not always necessarily about learning the word specifically, but it's about learning the story. Because, for example, right, if I ask you, hey, tell me a story, a random story. What's a story that you could tell me off the? You don't have to go through the whole story, but just
like a personal story, or
yeah,
like
a personal story, just a personal story.
Well, today, somebody approached me because someone threw my name out there, saying that their wife cheated, but said, "Oh, that's just this guy from this agency," when it wasn't me.
Okay,
like,
so Pete, right?
Yep.
If I asked you to tell me all the details from that story, from the beginning, middle, and end, right? You wouldn't have to think too hard about it.
Not at all.
Because you know the details of it.
Gotcha.
You know how you felt in that moment. You know what things smelled like. You know what they sounded like. You know what they looked like, right? So as an actor, you have to create that same sense of awareness with this material. So it's really a lot about character study. You have to study the character. A part of it is psychology. You have to understand psychology to a certain extent to be able to understand where this character is coming from. And once you can dive into that, the words start to pick up. You know, it becomes easy. It becomes easier to let those words just free flow themselves out, because you're creating and understanding more and more and more of the details of it. And once you put that into your body, your mind, your imagination, it becomes a lot.
I totally get that. I feel that. That's real.
Yeah. So you really have to own it like it's your own story. You know.
I actually 100% know what you just said. That's fire. But you do more than theater too.
Yep.
But people know you as a poet, bro.
Yeah, man.
a lot of people know
And
me as a poet.
it's funny because people that really know me as a poet, they don't really know me as an actor like that. And people that really know me as an actor don't really know me as a poet like that.
Speaking of, before I go into the poet, before we go into the poet thing, right?
Yeah.
I want to send a shout out to you and Ricardo, Pitts Wiley at Mixed Magic.
Shout out to Ricardo, my OG.
Because they put me on stage one time a couple of years back.
Oh yeah, Poets on Fire.
And I was like, just doing my little thing or whatever. But y'all taught me how to put the passion of acting into a stage show.
Yeah.
Also it was like y'all just had me stand in front of the stage and say, do it. And y'all had me do it a couple of times, like, no, but do this more.
Yeah.
And it's like you admit a glow by just standing there.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is crack, because I felt what y'all was saying, and then once I kind of I get it. I use that every time I do a show now.
Word.
Every single time. So
you know what it is, man? It's like people don't understand the value of body language on stage. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, you tell somebody to just go do something, whether it's rapping, whether it's poetry, whatever it is, and all of a sudden they don't really know how to use their body correctly in the sense of their body ends up being something that's more distracting rather than helping. They'll start shifting their feet around, you know what I'm saying, pivoting their feet around too much, or they don't stand in just one spot. But when you can remove things, when you can stop doing them without any control, and when you can control yourself and plant yourself a little bit more, now those movements have so much more value to them because they're not so reckless. They're not just randomly being thrown.
That's true.
So even if you're just standing there, like this and you're standing still, even just something as swift as just moving your hand like this now has so much more,
impact.
It has so much more impact to it because you're not just shifting around and stuff like that all over the place, and it's not,
in the realm of hip hop, doing that type of stuff, it kind of, what I've discovered, you don't come off as he's trying to be a rapper, do a lot of this and all this. It's like you're doing real stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I commend you guys. Thanks for teaching me that.
No doubt.
And I recommend all of y'all learn from these brothers. Hit up Ricardo Pitts Wiley at Mixed Magic Theater, or hit up Rudy Rudacious, you know what I'm saying? I'll put his link after this, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't gonna be free. It ain't gonna be free. We'll work with you on the price. But yo, I hate saying this, but I love saying it because I'm a man, so I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna stand on it. I don't want to have, I love everybody, and I don't want to wrinkle no feathers. I said for years that he's the dopest poet I know.
Thank you.
And I know a lot of poets, and I don't want them to think, oh, that. Like, nah, I love all y'all too, but there's something about this guy right here, you can hear him on my album. Like, there's something like flames about what he does. No, what is your favorite piece by you? I wanted to ask that for a while, but never asked.
I got a few answers for that, to be honest. I think the one that's my favorite to do for a crowd is Murder She Wrote.
Okay.
Just because how people give into that piece, and I think that's the poem that in 2023 really sets me apart from a lot of people, because while I feel like there are poets that can write better than me, there's just certain, it shows, that poem, in my opinion, the performance of it shows the intangibles that I have that maybe somebody else doesn't have. Somebody who might be able to write these double, triple, quadruple entendres and stuff like that, that can do these amazing things with words, but they might not have comedic timing the way that I do. And so, you take a poem like Murder She Wrote, for example, you look at it on paper, there's certain parts in there that on paper, it's not an amazing line. Like when I say, to go from, yo, who is she, to, hi, how are you?
Yep.
That's not an amazing line on paper. That's just saying, I'm going from, seeing the girl and being like, yo, bro, who's that over there, to then, approaching her.
Yeah.
I didn't write it with, this layered way, right? But my comedic timing to be like, to go from yo, who is she, to and start fixing myself up and stuff like that. And you know, when I'm in front of a crowd and like I got them in the palm of my hand, I'll milk that moment. Like I'll extend it.
Throw all the charisma in there.
I've done stuff where like I had like a pick in my back pocket, I pull it out, start combing my beard out and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I wish they had like the breath mint, the sprays or whatever, like the breath mint.
Like Banaka, kind of like
whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I would, any way that I can extend that out, but I can do that because I understand comedic timing.
Okay.
And so like that's something that piece I feel like really emphasizes my comedic timing in that kind of sense, which is I feel like something that's special to me.
Okay.
In the way that I can do it because of my acting experience. So I would say Murder She Wrote is probably my favorite. If I had to give just one answer, even though there are other ones, but I'd say Murder She Wrote.
Mine is The Hood. Concrete fist, crack glass jaw. That is my one. I don't care. I swear that was like the
poetically
intro.
Spoken.
Yeah, though that was the one that was kind of the intro to like us like starting to do stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Johnson who was on that joint too. But yo, that to me that's the one. I want to ask you a question because I know you're a big, huge fan of battle rap.
Mm-hmm.
You have way more battle rap knowledge than I do, and I like battle rap.
Mm-hmm.
Before I didn't, but I got more into it.
Oh yeah.
And I started developing my favorites. So I want to ask Mount Rushmore. I love asking these questions because a lot of people don't like answers.
All right. So
for you,
for me,
for your personal, if you have to name a Mount Rushmore or top 5 of battle rappers, and then I want you but start off with who's the one to you.
So here's the thing, right? For me, it's not necessarily about battle rappers. I just love battle rap, period. Yep. Right? So I'm more a fan of the actual craft. So there's people that I might not have been a particular fan of personally, but because I just love battle rap, I would still watch this. This is going back to like 2012, around there, 2013. That was when I knew everything. I fell off a little bit since then because it's too much to keep up with. But for me, when you talk about Mount Rushmore, I look at who is the foundation of like battle rap couldn't exist without these people.
All right.
Right? And so for me, anybody that came after 2012 is not eligible to be on Mount Rushmore.
Wow, that's big. All right.
Because to me, 2012 was the golden year of battle rap.
Okay.
Right? 2012 was Summer Madness 2, where they had the Return of the Legends.
Mm-hmm.
2012 was also when Cannabis came back, where you had a person who was like pretty big in the industry come back, and you saw the effects of that. I feel like 2012 was the year that changed battle rap forever, right? And so I base it off of who are the pillars before then. The two guys in the freestyle era that are like 1A and 1B, you're probably looking at Thesaurus and Illmaculate.
That's a dope name. I don't know them.
On the street side, I go back and forth between Murder Mook and T-Rex.
Okay.
The reason why I go back and forth between Murder Mook and T-Rex is because T-Rex. So Murder Mook was probably the most famous battle rapper.
Yeah,
at one point, right? From people that might just be a casual fan of battle rap at a certain time period. Right now, the most famous is probably Hitman Holla, because you got Wildin' Out and stuff like that, and we're in a different time. But going back to before 2012, Murder Mook was probably the most famous one. For that slot, I would put Loaded Lux, because not only was Loaded Lux a pillar in the DVD era, the Smack DVD era, but he was also responsible for bringing the talent in the Lion's Den. So he's responsible for dudes like Arsenal. He's responsible for Goods. He's responsible for Head Ice.
See, I know all that.
See, because there was a time where Smack DVD went away, and then there wasn't that street side. There was a void on the street side. Charlie Clips is another one.
That's my guy.
Tay-Rock is another one. Tay-Rock is another one. Those guys are all Lions Den guys.
Yep.
Another person that I would put on the fourth spot would be Averb.
All right.
So Averb and the reason why I say Averb is because Averb stamped the Midwest movement.
Who is your top, I want to say, 4, I'm not going to say Mount Rushmore, and just in your opinion, this rapper?
So the one slot that I'm 100% sure of is my number 1, and that's Black Thought.
Okay.
Black Thought is my absolute favorite.
Woo!
People that had probably like the biggest impact on me, definitely DMX.
Really?
DMX had a big impact on me. DMX made me fall in love with hip hop.
I never knew that about you.
DMX
Really?
made me fall in love with hip hop. So the first hip hop song I ever saw. Cause you gotta remember, I grew up in a Dominican household and a very Christian household.
Okay.
So I didn't have like I didn't grow up in a house where my parents were listening to hip hop. I didn't grow up in a house where even my siblings were like hardcore buying albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? My cousins were sleeping over our house one time.
Yep.
And the next day they were watching BET.
Yep.
That was how I discovered hip hop. That was my first time I seen hip hop. And the first song that I saw was actually Mace, Feel So Good. That was the first song that I saw. And even then, I was like, too flashy for me. I didn't like it.
Yep.
Immediately right after that, DMX Rough Riders Anthem comes
Oh,
It was just something about it for me that just was like, oh my God. And I had a lot of anger and a lot of energy in me or whatever and stuff like that. So it was like perfect.
Okay.
I was like, it was perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is someone that I have to mention. 50 Cent.
Oh yeah.
That Get Rich or Die Trying
Yeah.
in the club.
Was crazy.
But I'm saying I was my ears were active at that time.
Yeah.
Like I felt that impact. Like I was like the same way some people talk about Illmatic, like when Nas dropped Illmatic, right? When they're like, yo, I was in high school when Nas dropped Illmatic, and they know that feeling. I know. I was in 8th grade.
At that age,
I was in 8th grade when Get Rich or Die Trying dropped. I remember that shit. The fourth slot is someone a little bit more recent, but I love this dude's albums, Kendrick Lamar.
I knew you were gonna say Kendrick.
Yeah,
you talk about him a lot.
And the reason why is because Kendrick was the first hood perspective that I could actually relate to.
Yep. You have Black Thought, DMX, 50 Cent, and Kendrick.
Yeah.
That's the four right there from
I'm all over the place, man.
You wasn't up on this, but now you are up on this. I just want to say, do you want to tell the people anything that they don't know about you? You want them to know about you? Anything coming up? What you working on? What to look for? Websites, all that.
Yeah, man, just hit me up on Instagram at it's Rudy Ru, ITSRUDYRU. You know, I used to be super duper hard on like, you know, the promo and everything like that. I took my opportunities and seized them the best. So I feel like locally I'm always gonna have a stamp and I'm always gonna have a leg in wherever I need to, and you know, and I never sabotage myself either. You know, because outside of being a talented artist, outside of being a professional, just being a good dude too. I just say, man, just follow me. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on Instagram. Hit me up on Facebook. You can look me up on YouTube if you like. Like this. That's the other part about art is like you settle into what's really meant for you. And like when I think about certain things, I remember at one point like I was trying to go viral. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody does. You know what I'm saying? When the internet is out there, and you're trying to put stuff out there, trying to make stuff stick. And then you find yourself doing stuff out of character, just trying to, you know what I'm saying? Get your foot out there. And now I don't feel the pressure to do any of that stuff because, you know, I have a foundation in where it's most natural to me, makes the most sense for me and stuff like that. And so, you know, you've grown into kind of knowing more who you are. You're comfortable in your skin. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Rudy Ru, thank you, my brother.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for having me.
They wasn't up on this, but now you up on this.
Yeah.
Follow Rudy Ru. I'm actually gonna put it right here. This is where the text is right here.
Oh, it was right here.
Right here. So,
I thought it was right here, but it's right here. I thought it was right here, but it's right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
www.flizzmusic.com